Hello, and welcome to HP Love Malt. My name is Ryan. You guys promised not to laugh when I started talking. My name is Ryan, I'm your host. Joining me today are Eduardo and Gabriel, these two fine, astute, well-traveled gentlemen to help me review a fine and attractive. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. But it's in your contract that
we needed to say that.
Two fine, astute, well-traveled gentlemen to help me review a fine, astute, well-traveled whiskey brand / whiskey on its own. Johnnie Walker Green Label. It's pretty well known. Do you have like a first experience with it, or you know?
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
That's all I know. That just like it's really fun.
I've only really had Tennessee bourbon whiskey. I think is that it? The regular, or no, wait, is that the one?
Are you thinking Jack Daniels?
That's it. I'm very inexperienced with whiskey.
So Johnnie Walker is a brand started in 1820 in Scotland. It was a family-owned business started by Johnnie Walker, who began by going to the grocery stores nearby and creating a more consistent blend of the whiskeys. He would buy whiskeys that would show up on the market and blend them consistently, and those became popular. His son carried on that tradition, Alexander Walker, and then his grandsons, Alexander and George, I believe, teamed up and sort of started making it more global. They would become partners with ship captains at the ports and be like, hey, do you want to buy some of our whiskey? And they'd be like, this is really good stuff, it is, boy. And then they would take, ship captains.
They pirates.
Some of them were, I'm sure. They would take it all over the world, wherever they were going. So by the 1920s, I believe, about 120 countries had been exposed to Johnnie Walker. So that sort of speaks to their logo. This was actually originally designed on a napkin. A friend of theirs drew it out and he's like, do you like this? And he's like, that is perfect.
I just wanted to say that one of my early memories, I must have been like 8 years old. I saw my first bottle of Johnnie Walker. He was like this old man who my mom used to work for, and this guy used to be wasted pretty much every Saturday night.
15, in my opinion, is probably the nicest Johnnie Walker you can buy at like a regular priced budget. This bottle I got for $55 before tax. It might vary depending on where you're going, but it is very nice. From so much so that it was your birthday present. I was like, I feel good making this purchase.
I'm just.
What's special about the 15-year-old, which makes it so unique, is that it is not a blended Scotch. It is, but it's a blended malt or a vatted malt, which means that no grain whiskey is used in this. Grain whiskey is created using a column still, which is much cheaper. It costs less labor to use, and it generally has like a more reduced, smoother flavor, and so pretty much all the Johnnie Walker range uses grain whiskey because it dulls down the power of that single malt Scotch that they're blending it with. But the Green Label is a pure malt, which is also why it's like kind of coveted. So these are different blends of single malt Scotches from different distilleries in Scotland. And would you like to read which ones? Either of you. It does. I'm sure you both.
Oh, I read two and you read two.
Just read all of them.
I think Talisker I can pronounce, and Linkwood, and you can read the other two.
Cragganmore and
Kalila.
That's what I was.
That one's a pain to pronounce. This was actually introduced to the line in 1997. It was very popular. People touted it as like, they were like, this is one of the best Johnnie Walkers you can buy, without shelling out for the blue label. And I think because of shortage of stocks, like whiskey stocks, Talisker can be hard to get a hold of, Kalila can be hard to get a hold of. They had to discontinue it around 2012 everywhere in the world except for Taiwan for some reason.
The whiskey capital.
Clearly, they still had Green Label. So let's pour ourselves a little bit, because how are we going to appreciate it by just talking about what's outside the bottle when you have to get inside the bottle?
We have been waiting for a long time. Wow, you owe me $20.
So yeah, what's cool about them listing the kind of character malts the different malts that they use in this is that you kind of sort of pick them out. So I'm guessing Cragganmore is what they use as the bulk of the blend to sort of hold all the other flavors together. So you get a lot of that fresh apple, little fresh cut grass, a little honey for sure. Then there is a bit of like kind of like the oiliness of Kalila. It's definitely much more delicate on the nose than I think it is on the palate.
I think so, yeah.
And then with the linkwood is very floral, so you're getting a bit of kind of like flower and maybe chamomile tea, maybe a bit of jasmine.
Yeah, it does smell like tea now that you mention.
And alcohol.
And alcohol, of course. This is one of the highest proof Johnnie Walkers. It's 43%. Most Johnnie Walkers are 40%. Gives it a little bump of flavor.
Cheers.
Cheers, yes.
Oh, right. We didn't do the fancy thing, we didn't.
You don't have to do that. Whoa, yeah.
To gargle it.
The more bold flavors kind of come out on the palate, I think. The Talisker has a signature kind of sulfuric pepperiness to it, which definitely explodes onto your tongue a little bit. The smoke is more present on the tongue, but you do still kind of get kind of waves back and forth between that and like the sweetness and the floral qualities offered by the Speyside mixed in.
Yeah, and I noticed the honey a lot more. And many bees are sacrificed.
Yeah,
you don't want
bees.
Bees were sacrificed in the making of this video.
No, there's no honey in this. No, the only ingredients in this are water, malted barley, and yeast.
And the blood of a million bees.
I'm glad you guys are learning from my, well, everything I've told you. Pretty nice. It's a pretty long finish. I find with grain whiskeys, so the other Johnnie Walkers, they are still pleasant, but the finish doesn't quite last as long because the grain whiskey is definitely more mellow.
I noticed the smoke a lot more on the finish, and the floral flavors.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a pollen, bitter honey to it, and then the smoke does kind of stick to your tongue in the background and remain there as kind of like a distant memory echo. John Drinks did a tasting comparing like an older bottling to this one, and he said it was more mild, it was a bit more nuanced, but that this one just has more flavor. They might have been running out of Kalila and Talisker because those are a bit harder to come by for blenders because it's good stuff and because they're smaller distilleries. But they were running out of stock since they started cutting it, and then it just wasn't what it used to be, and so they discontinued it. But they brought it back.
I mean, the number, right? I mean, on the bottle it says 15 years. What is that the point of reference from? 15
means it had to be at least 15 years old before it was bottled. So it had to be aged in oak barrels for at least 15 years. Now that's like a minimum. So they can put older whiskey in there, but they can't put younger whiskey in there. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm glad.
I have so many more questions.
Oh, yeah, we
only have
out
so
of
much
time.
We have to go, guys.
So happy to have you.
No
Fantastic
problem.
experience. Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Very
I
eye-opening.
really love it.
This has been HP Love Malt. Love your malt and love yourselves. Cheers.
Boom.
Woo! So you guys bear a striking genetic similarity to our beloved editor, Taty, who
Who's
is
that?
here.
Oh,
Are you
it's our
serious?
lovely editor, who we are in no way affiliated with. When are you guys going to invest in a teleprompter?
You know,
That'd be
could
be
really-
really useful.
Yeah. I mean, we look fantastic. We are attractive,
we're the,
right?
what was that group we had? The something
We have-
gentlemen?
we have
Backstreet. Oh,
the manly men?
Yeah.
The manly men.
Manly man.
I don't know. I thought it was going to be some like.
Hello. I'm glad we're not trying to not offend anyone. So thank you guys.
What is a master blender? Just
Um,
wondering.
This has been HP Love Malt.
This is just the beginning.
Just let him sign off.
He's doing a sign
Oh,
off.
sorry.